Italy, with 4 World Cups and 2 European Championships, is one of the most iconic football countries in history. But have you ever wondered how you would rank their greatest legends? Let's find out. As you can see, we have 20 icons of the game. All of them have contributed to the Italian national team and football as a whole in some way. To make it trickier, we'll jump from the past to present, all the way to the golden era of Italian football. Legend number 1. Gianluigi Donnarumma. With his heroics for PSG and Italy, impressively taking the baton from Gigi Buffon, Donnarumma can definitely be named a legend. He's obviously not yet at the level of some of the other players you'll see, but he's already achieved a lot in his relatively short career. The 2020 Euros, the Champions League and European treble with PSG, as well as 2 Yashin trophies. He's still not quite a cult hero, but he's definitely up there, with the potential to become an all-time great. C tier. Going back some 90 years, we have Giuseppe Meazza, the first big legend of Italian football. A striker, he was the first player to represent all 3 of Italy's top clubs. Meazza won 3 Serie A titles and 1 Coppa Italia, but his greatest achievements were at international level. He is one of only 4 Italians to win 2 World Cups, and certainly the greatest. S tier for a reason. On the present stage, we have a player who retired recently from international football, Marco Verratti. We all know Verratti is one of the most naturally gifted players of our generation. His ability to glide past opponents and lead PSG's midfield for over a decade has been nothing short of impressive. But apart from the dozens of domestic trophies, 21 to be precise, he didn't win anything big in his career. The peak for him was the 2020 Euros, which itself can't be put on the same scale as the titles of the other legends on the list. A great footballer, but a D tier unfortunately. Next up is Silvio Piola. Even 86 years after his retirement, he remains Italy's 3rd highest goalscorer. Piola was not just a poacher, he was a complete forward who led Italy to victory in the 1938 World Cup, scoring twice in the final. Despite playing in the pre-war era, his consistency and dominance stand out. Minimum C tier, up there. Moving on to more recent times, we have Jorginho. Now the midfielder is one of the most talked about and controversial Italian footballers, but his achievements cannot be taken away from him, even though he wasn't the flashiest player possible. He won the Euros and the Champions League in a matter of weeks, and then topped it all off with a podium finish at the Ballon d'Or. Many fans, myself included, will say that Verratti is 10 times the footballer than Jorginho is in terms of raw talent. However, Jorginho was in the form of his life, and deservedly sits one level above his former teammate. With legend number 6, we have one of the legendary number 6s for Italian national team, Gianluigi Facchetti. Before Cafu and Roberto Carlos, there was Facchetti, the original attacking fullback. He was captain of Inter's golden era in the 1960s, winning 4 Serie A titles and 2 European Cups, and was a key player in Italy's Euro 1968 success. Facchetti modernised defending and carried himself like a true statesman of the game. And with Leonardo Bonucci, we have another great who played for Italy's 3 most successful teams. Practically, he started his career at Inter, then peaked at Juventus, and passed 1 season through AC Milan to fill in the portfolio. 9 Serie A titles, 2 Champions League silver medals, and a Euros triumph speaks for themselves. Oh, and let's not forget who scored that vital equaliser at Wembley. B tier bare minimum. Next up, Gianni Rivera, with whom we open another tier on the list. Nicknamed the Golden Boy of Italian football, Rivera was the elegant playmaker who drove AC Milan to success through the 1960s and 70s. He won the Ballon d'Or in 1969, was twice a European Cup champion, was a World Cup finalist and won Euro 1968 with Italy. A tier for a reason. Moving between defenders and attackers, with the last few picks, we come to Bonucci's partner in crime, aka Giorgio Chiellini. The two are like Messi and Ronaldo, Xavi and Iniesta, or Ferdinand and Vidic. You can't imagine one without the other. As they played during more or less the same era, they have similar pieces of silverware. While Bonucci's contribution in the final against England was his goal, Chiellini's was his monumental dragging of Bukayo Saka, a moment that immediately became part of Italian football folklore. B tier, right next to Bonucci. Next up, all of us have different understandings of who is the most legendary Italian goalkeeper. The one who originated the concept of the great Italian goalkeeper, however, was Dino Zoff. The man was already a legend before lifting the 1982 World Cup at 40 years old. A goalkeeper who exuded calmness and leadership, Zoff won 6 Serie A titles and held the record for the longest time without conceding an international goal. In terms of consistency, trophies and sheer longevity, he's right at the top. S tier, GOAT. Now fast forward to the 21st century and we come to Andrea Pirlo. Hear me out, I get goosebumps just hearing his name, let alone thinking about his football. Poetry is the perfect word to describe Pirlo. His passing range and composure made him one of the most legendary midfielders of all time. A World Cup winner, 2-time Champions League champion, and the heartbeat of Italy's 2006 and 2012 runs. My favourite moment has to be that Panenka against England in 2012. A tier, elite. Legend number 12, Franco Baresi, the silent assassin of Italian defending. What's important is that this is the first player on our list who won close to everything in his career. He won domestic titles and European Cups, and he even claimed each of the 3 medals in 3 of the 5 World Cups he participated in. One of Italy's greatest, S tier. Similarly renowned for his longevity is Gigi Buffon. Yet another legendary Italian goalkeeper who followed in the footsteps of his predecessors, Zoff and Gianluca Pagliuca. Buffon wrote an endless history over 2 decades. World Cup winner, 10-time Serie A champion, and a symbol of leadership and loyalty. His biggest regret is that he never won the Champions League, but that won't diminish his status, the GOAT of all goalkeepers, S tier. By the way, have you ever wondered who the greatest player with the shortest prime was? Well, that could probably be Paolo Rossi, whose peak lasted exactly 27 days. A little less than 4 weeks was all it took for Paolo Rossi to become a cult hero after winning the 1982 World Cup in spectacular fashion. Not only did he lift the famous Jules Rimet trophy, he also won the Golden Ball and the Golden Boot, becoming only the 3rd player in history to achieve this feat. For one magical summer, a man who hadn't played more than 100 games for any club carried Italy on his back. A tier, elite. However, his namesake, Daniel De Rossi, is far from his level. As we said, each of these players could be considered a legend of Italian football, but the player with the emptiest trophy cabinet is the Roma icon. Was he born a champion? Yes. Was he a warrior in every sense? Absolutely. However, his poor reputation and lack of class, together with the fact that he didn't have a leading role in the 2006 World Cup triumph, probably justifies our decision to put him next to Verratti. It's a questionable take, but he's a D tier, a little overrated and surely the least talented player on the list. Now, the player he played with most during his career was the King of Rome, Francesco Totti. His loyalty to Roma cost him trophies, but earned him immortality. A creative genius and World Cup winner with a huge contribution to the team, unlike De Rossi, Totti was both artist and assassin, pure Roman royalty, and 28 years with the club of his heart. A tier. Now, we're left with arguably the 4 best Italian footballers of all time, the first of whom is, said in simple terms, the most gifted Italian footballer ever, Roberto Baggio. Grace, vision, balance and heartbreak all in one player, a Ballon d'Or winner, Serie A champion and the spiritual leader of Italy's 1994 World Cup run. Even his missed penalty became part of his legend. Baggio wasn't just a footballer, he was poetry in motion, a religion in Italy, and for the GOAT of Italian football, you can't give him anything other than S tier. Interestingly, his successor for Juventus, Del Piero, was one of Baggio's biggest fans. He played in his idol's position, as the two even played together for 2 seasons. A Champions League winner, World Cup champion, and the ultimate professional, Del Piero combined elegance with lethal finishing. Due to the similarity in their styles of play and height, both standing at 1.74 meters, many people were seeing Baggio reborn in Del Piero's legs. A tier. 4. This is the number of pure Italians to win the Ballon d'Or, and the last one we're going to talk about, and also the only defender on the list, is Fabio Cannavaro. Many people think that the Berlin Wall was demolished in 1989, but Cannavaro rebuilt it 4 weeks in 2006 and ensured it would last forever. And that's exactly what he did. The Italian defender only conceded 2 goals throughout the tournament, neither of which came from open play. A tier. And last but not least, Paolo Maldini, the name that defines Italian football. He played over 1,000 professional games, won 5 Champions Leagues and 7 Serie A titles, and earned more respect than anyone else to have ever worn the armband. He could defend, lead and inspire like no one else. Maldini wasn't just a player, he set the standard. The perfect mix of loyalty, longevity and class. The greatest defender of all time and arguably a top 5 player in football history overall. S tier. So, did you like our tier list? If you did, make sure to check our last on Italy's current national team players, because some of our takes sparked a huge debate in the comments.